Wind.
Yes.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to Happy Endings. We're just commenting on the wind that is like howling through all the windows in my house. It's a gorgeous day here in the Bay Area. We're actually having a bit of a heat wave. It's going to get up 80 degrees.
Well, our weather over here, last week when I did the show, I think I was in single digits over here. I think I said I was either between 1 and 4 degrees last week.
Yep.
Yesterday was 55.
Oh, my God.
So we've had 50, maybe 56. We've had a 55-degree swing in 7 days. And then tonight they're calling for snow. So that's what we deal with in March. It's really, really fun when you don't know which thong to put on.
All right.
I'm the spring thong.
It's nutty. I know you're being facetious, but I'm having that same problem because remember, I'm there next month and I have no idea what the weather is. So it's like, do I need to buy a new jacket? Do I need to buy a new sweater?
Usually end of March, April, it's usually pretty consistent. You know, it's not freezing. You know, it might be cold for you, but I mean, it's not going to be. I really don't think we're going to see single digits, you know, at the end of the month.
Yeah.
So it should be in the 30s or 40s. Who knows? We might get lucky and go into the 50s.
So Jaeger's in the room. Barbara's in the room. Welcome, welcome. Nick is not in the room because Nick's an asshole.
Get a sound effects for that.
Hold on a second. I have no sound effects.
Oh man.
So no sound effects loaded up. I'm sorry. Let's see. You've already used the chicken for me. What animal should we? Let's see. Cow. Nick will be the cow.
No, it's some kind of a robot.
Robot? Okay. There are no robot sounds, so we're just going to have to live with the cow. There we go. There's Nick. Not being in the room. Oh, so if you're just joining us, Happy Endings, episode 45. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Holy Goalie. Not with us is Nick DiNicola. And it sucks because he has all the news. I didn't look up shit.
No, but you know why he's not with us?
Why?
It's because we just recorded our last show that probably should be available for listening now.
Yep, it is.
So when you're done listening to Happy Ending, listen to our regular show. But at the end of the show, we said, Nick, restart your router.
Vroom, vroom.
And he's probably having trouble
restarting his router.
We said we unplug it for 30 seconds. Hope we didn't think 30 minutes.
No, he must. I know he doesn't know that.
I mean, he's a smart guy, but, you know, the common sense part of Nick.
Here he is. He's back. You need to call him again. Add him to the call.
I'll get to it.
Okay.
There he is.
I mean, when I feel like it, I'll give him a call back. But right now, I think we're doing well without him.
Yeah.
Don't really need him right now.
I know that if you guys have listened to it, Nick has admittedly not listened to it, but the last few shows he's been cutting out real bad. So this week I just freaking made him restart his router. So hopefully that will help.
So yeah, I did. This is the big test.
And you have not cut out yet.
Okay. All right. Now, in order to keep this record, I'm not going to say another word.
That'd be the best show ever.
Barbara says, y'all killed Nick. No, we did not kill him. We can't kill Nick. He's the brains. We're like the A-team, but, you know, I'm the looks, Nick's the brains, and Goalie is the funny. Any one of us.
Really?
Yeah, you're the funny. You bring the funny. I think we can all agree you're funnier than both of us. Nick's smarter than both of us, and I'm prettier than both of you. So,
I don't know. I think I'm pretty.
I have a pretty sweet.
Nick is very pretty.
Yeah,
he is. All right. Well, I'm the one that's
a sexy beast.
I'm the one that's got all the back catalogs. So there, it's my basketball court. I get to play. I may not be the best player in the team, but it's my court.
That's right. So I ended up going back and playing a little bit of South Park during the break.
Yeah.
Boy, the one thing that really bugs me about these turn-based combat games is like I took it like one turn and then somehow they got 3 and they killed me. I'm like, really? I'm just. It was a stupid enemy. It wasn't even a boss or anything. And it's like I died 3 times fighting this guy already because it's like I take one hit and it's like bam, bam, bam. They get 3 shots at me and I'm dead. I'm like, really? Really?
Yeah.
Is that how this is going to be? It's like this is a meaningless event in the game.
Why
And
don't
you
you
gotta
just play it on? I'm sure they have difficulty modes. Why don't you just
don't
play
know
it
what-
in puss mode?
I don't know if it's push mode or regular mode. I don't remember what I did it in. But it's just like, oh, come on. I don't want to have to go back and fight this stupid thing again. It doesn't make any sense. It's not even part of the game. It's just a...
There's got to be a difficulty that you can
Yeah,
do.
there must be. But, whatever. I mean, I don't want it to be too easy. 'Cause I'm getting through it. But it is, like I said, when you just like fight like a rat in a sewer, and you lose. You're like, really? I've had to fight this rat 3 times.
Oh
and
man, listen, don't knock yourself, beat yourself up about it. Final Fantasy 14 on the PlayStation 4, the first thing you have to do is go out and kill 10 ladybugs. My God, I got my ass kicked by ladybugs. Yeah.
Oh, if you think that's bad, in Dark Souls 2, when you get to this area that's kind of like the hub world, if you go into a corner of it, they're like these 3 little piglets, like mutant piglets.
Uh-huh.
And they're like real tiny little things. Like, oh, kind of disgustingly cute. They will fuck you up. They will fuck you up bad. Oh my God. These piglets are the strongest enemy I have faced so far. Thankfully, if you just avoid their area of the map, they won't come and get you.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, they're kind of slow and stupid, so you can fight them if you want, but it takes so long to kill them. And there's 3 of them. And man, when they hit you, they hurt. God damn, those piglets. They gave me a scare.
Yeah, all right. Well, yeah, that's I think something that is fairly ubiquitous through games, that the cutest, easiest, like the most adorable stuff are the ones that are just going to rip your throat out with no mercy.
There's always that moment in gaming.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember the piglets are tough because I remember these 2 girls at the restaurant we called piglets when I was. Nah, it's another story. I won't.
Twins. Ooh.
No, they weren't twins. It just they were really close friends and just they liked their grand slams. That's all I'm gonna say.
Free pancake day! Free pancake day! Blackstar Void says, sounds like the zombie pigmen in Minecraft. Yeah, and zombie pigmen will take you out. Will kick your ass in Minecraft.
They will.
Pigs in general, man. Whenever you see a pig in a game, kill it.
Yeah, and ladybugs.
Yeah. In fact, anything. Whenever you see anything in a video game,
Just kill it. Yep.
Better safe than sorry.
So, what was it? Rain Pollock, who's on my Facebook page, asked an interesting question before we get into news that I kind of want to bring up. That once he said it, it kind of a light bulb went off in my head, and I realized, he's right. This has happened. Movies on video games have pretty much always sucked. Just sucked out loud large, right? And it used to be that movies about comic books sucked equally. They just could not make a good one, and it would upset people to no end. Now, they're making really good movies of comic books now. Really good movies. I'm wondering if this might mark a change, or if that's going to be a change that we might start getting good movies based on video games as opposed to just total pieces of crap that we get now.
I've actually heard positive things about Need for Speed. That it's a good race car movie.
That's really couching it. A good race car movie.
I don't know. If you go see a movie called Need for Speed, I want to see cars driving fast and blowing up and smashing into stuff.
Right, but that's like
if
saying
you can deliver that.
That is the best haggis I have ever had in my life. It's not a very high bar.
What the hell's a haggis?
You don't know what a haggis is?
No, you guys using all these words you got in college or whatever.
No, that's not a college word. It's a
dude.
Nick, you know what haggis is, right?
Isn't that? I know it's something disgusting. I don't know exactly what it is. Isn't it like stomach?
No, it's bladder.
Stomach lining.
Bladder. That's tripe. Tripe is stomach lining.
Okay.
Haggis is a traditional Scottish dish that you take, like chopped up meat, and you mix it with suet, which is, I think, beef fat. And then you put grain in, some kind of grain, and essentially it's kidneys and all this other innards mixed in with all that. And you make it a big, like, pasty mess. And then you get I believe it's a sheep's bladder, and you stuff the sheep's bladder with this stuff, and then you put it in the oven and you bake it. It's fucking disgusting.
It scares me.
It's fucking disgusting.
Can I just say that it does scare me that you know this stuff?
Why? Haggis. See, look, Black Sphere Boys. Haggis is a Scottish dish. It's a very traditional Scottish dish. I had it in Scotland, and because I always wanted to try it, and it was as bad as you think it is. Haggis is not that unusual. Scotch eggs. Anybody? Scotch eggs?
I've never heard of that. I've heard of haggis.
Scotch egg is you take a hard-boiled egg, you wrap it in sausage, and then you deep fry it. It's good.
Hard-boiled egg wrapped in sausage, deep fried. Yeah, okay. That sounds fine.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. Corey Wallace says it's a bladder for Goalie. It's not a bladder. It's a bladder.
You all could just kiss my rosy red ass.
I didn't say it. I'm just repeating what C said in the chat.
Yeah, I know. You're the innocent one, right? I'm just passing along a message. I know. You know, why is all, this is supposed to be, pick on Nick, and you guys are all dumping on me. This is not fun.
Oh, no.
You guys use big words and haggis and, these crazy menu dishes that...
Rocky Mountain oysters. Jaeger brings up Rocky Mountain oysters. You know what those are, right?
Food Network doesn't even have these menus.
No, I've seen Food Network have talk about haggis. In fact, I've seen Food Network make a haggis. You know what Rocky Mountain oysters are, right?
Oh, man. Didn't they open up for Black Sabbath?
Oh, Rocky Mountain oysters are bull testicles.
It figures.
Which I've heard are delicious.
I'm sure they are. You can nibble on them all day long and have a great time.
Yeah. It's kind of a cowboy gaucho food because, of course, they go through the herd and they castrate all the cattle, and then they're left with this big pile of meat. So they cook it up over.
Like, you know what?
Yeah, why waste the meat? So they roast it over an open fire and cut it up, and apparently it's delicious. Corey Wallace says that's Blue Oyster Cult, not Rocky Mountain oysters.
Dick. Don't wreck my day.
Oh, other gross foods. Tripe. I can't stand tripe. Anybody ever had tripe? That's a mostly Hispanic food. It's used a lot. It's used in menudo. But anybody had tripe?
I don't even know what menudo is. Holy cow. Can we talk about video games? This is like, if we're going to go down this crazy food channel stuff, I'm going to tune out and go play South Park.
Really? This is not Food Network. This is menudo.
I know. It just,
It's not. This is not like, haute cuisine and all. This is just street food.
What's menudo? I haven't heard of menudo.
Menudo is like a soup, like a stewy soup that's made with, I think it's hominy, which is like...
What the hell's hominy?
What's Stewie? Is that Family Guy?
What's stew?
It's made with Stewie. Mom. It's
tomato-based soup, and hominy are these... I think it's... Actually, I don't know what hominy is, but it's like corn that's been soaked and then heated up so it pops a little bit. It's essentially like... They look like teeth is what hominy looks like, but it's a grain.
I saw that movie.
And I know you did. And then it's chopped up menudo inside, in the soup as well, chopped up tripe. Chopped up tripe. Tripe is like the inner lining of the stomach. It's just fucking disgusting. Ugh. Yeah, and also Void mentions Menudo, the Latin's pop band from the 80s, from whence Ricky Martin came from. Hominy is like grits. Yeah, grits. Grits is ground up hominy.
Ricky Martin, that's the NASCAR driver, right?
Yes, that's exactly who it is.
Oh, I know him.
Barbara Zelikman says it's white corn. There you go. And you went to Ethiopian food. Good for you. Look at you branching out.
I did.
It's fucking awesome, isn't it? It's my favorite cuisine is
It's
Ethiopian.
funny because it was one of the wife's very liberal friends. We did a favor for us. So she's like, I'm going to take you out. So I was like, oh, perfect. Let's just, she goes, and not China Jade. I'm like, all right. So they took us into Boston, into this Ethiopian restaurant. And it was definitely a different experience for me, just all around between the food and how they prepare it and the clientele. It was definitely not China Jade clientele. And she kept saying, are you okay? I was like, I'm fine. I didn't care for walking through the city at night, tell you the truth, and everybody walking by with the beer in the brown bag and drunk stumbling around. I didn't care for that too much, I'd rather hang out with Nick.
Yeah, right.
But the place itself was fine, but it's just funny. She's like, so what do you think? I was like, man, I really wish I knew we were coming here. I would have worn my NASCAR shirt and my Bush Cheney hat.
But you ate with your hands? You ate with the injera bread?
Yes, sit down. It looks like a big sombrero, like a Mexican hat, but without the pointy part. It's like flat.
Right.
And they lay down all this really thin bread, and they just scoop all the food onto this bread, and then they give you bread. Mm-hmm. And so you pull apart the bread and just pick it up with your hands, all this food, and then at the end you eat all the bread that's on the table.
The left on the table, yeah. And that's the best stuff at the bottom, but it's got all the juices in it.
She goes, this is really filling stuff. Mm-hmm. And if every bite you took, you had a piece of bread with, you'd be full.
Yeah, because it's like the bread you pull off the injera, which is kind of like this springy, spongy bread, and it's wet, and then you just essentially pinch a piece of the with the bread, pinch a piece of the rice, pinch a piece of the meat, and then you stick the whole thing in your mouth, and
it was fantastic. The food, I mean, hey, fantastic food. It really was.
Yeah, that's my favorite kind of food.
I was just all of a sudden we're sitting there, and it finally dawned on me. I was like, I don't see any silverware. Like, excuse me, ma'am.
Can I get a fork?
I don't have any silverware here.
Yep.
And then they come over with a towel and say, would you like to wash your hands? I'm like, why? They don't do this at China Jade. I don't have to wash my hands before I eat. It was fun. It really was.
Yeah, good. Anyway, off of the food thing, we never hit news, and Nick's got some news. I should have looked up some news in the half hour that I was waiting, but I didn't because I'm a jerk. You want to hit news?
Do it.
All right, hold on. I gotta get out of this. And where's my news sounder? Yeah, this is so professional. All right, here, let's hit the news. This is the Game Hounds News, the news, views, and commentary of the week in gaming with Gamer Edie, Holy Goalie Nick, DiNicola, and the first item is Nick.
I know, I want to go.
Oh, really? You've got a news item?
Well, I'm going to bring something up, and then you guys can explain it.
All right.
So what's up with the guy from Sony resigning now after the guy from Microsoft resigned? So we got the two top dogs that were at E3 both gone.
Wait,
right?
Somebody from Jack Trenton stepped out? Oh!
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I've been kind of out of just so everybody in the chat room knows, and anybody listening live, is I've been totally out of the news simply because my dad, you guys know I've been taking care of my dad. My dad passed away on Sunday morning, so pretty much my whole life has been dealing with his affairs, putting in his affairs in order. So I've had no time to pay attention to this. So when did Jack Trenton step down?
Sometime last week.
Oh, God. Wow. I feel like I'm in a time warp. But everybody knew, kind of. It wasn't, it didn't really come as a big surprise. Everyone knew that Jack was going to step down eventually. I mean, he's been there for fucking ever. Yeah, he's been with SCEA, which is Sony Computer Entertainment, whatever. He's been with them since 95.
Oh, really?
Yeah, since it was founded. He's been the head with SCEA the entire time it's existed. So it doesn't surprise me that he's stepping down. He's retiring, man. Dude needs his time off.
Yeah, it seemed like he just had to stay through the launch of the PS4 to make sure, oversee that. And then once that's out, he's like, okay,
it's just
job here's done.
The timing though of it all, it is kind of, it's like, really? It's like, everybody's so excited for him at the show, and I was like, okay, see you later, bye.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of glad that at the end of his reign of being at the helm of Sony, the Sony Online Entertainment, that he could actually have last E3 where he was able to get up in front of that whole mess of people and be able to just deliver the address he has always wanted to deliver, where it's like, I have you by the balls, Xbox. I have you dead to rights. This is awesome. Let me tell you what we're going to give you, and have everybody lose their shit every time he said something. I'm kind of glad he got that. It's a good way to go out.
Kind of makes me feel worse for Don Matrick, who didn't get that.
No, Don did not. Fucking cockholes. If you don't like it, buy a 360. I'm out.
I missed that one.
Yeah, but yeah, he did, Don Matrick really brought it on himself. The way that Don Matrick went out. But he's not really out. He's at Zynga, so.
He's out.
He's out.
Yeah,
It's like Nick going to Zynga. I'll see you later.
Well, Zynga's launching a bunch of new games, too.
Yeah, you just wrecked the moment.
Sorry.
Let it go.
All right.
and they'll launch new games. They won't be successful.
No.
What is that? That King.com is over the reigns Zynga once had.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Hopefully they crash and burn too, and someone tears them.
I'm just
Yeah,
letting
that's gonna
everybody
happen.
know, if you're in the chat room or if you listen to this after, I will be getting back to draw something with you guys. I know it's been a year and a half. I know I owe you guys a drawing, so sorry about that. I know it's probably have to draw something 8 or 9 about now, but I do plan. I saw that the other day in the iPad. I was like, yeah, I gotta get back. I saw a couple notifications from somebody.
That's right. I should download that.
It's been like 985 days since you played. So, I mean, I will. I know I keep saying it, but I'm excited.
900 days. That's impressive. You gotta at least wait until it crosses over to 1,000. You gotta cross over to 1,000 days.
I wasn't serious, dickhead. It's just a joke.
I was laughing.
That anyway.
I got it. Nick.
Oh.
He's like that little guy, that little puppet guy. Meow.
That little what puppet guy?
He's like the Travelocity gnome.
You see that? I understand.
With tripe and some of those other things that you talked about. Insert some big word from Edie here.
Tripe is not big. Haggis is not big.
Tripe, I
These
know.
are not
Haggis sounds
SAT
like-
words.
Haggis was my freshman English teacher.
Mr. Haggis. That would be a character out of South Park. So anyway, okay, back to news. Anything else happen other than that? Or anybody else have an opinion that was not expressed by Trenton just stepping down?
I'm kind of bummed.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't, I enjoy, just he got you excited about the PS4. He did. Xbox stumbled. Okay, yeah, he kind of kicked them all the way down, but it just the way he did it was smooth. It was
And he
you
failed so badly on the PS3. God, I remember sitting through those things with the PS3, and every year it was like, oh, you could just see the pain in his eyes that he had to get up there and try and sell you on a system that nobody wanted.
Yeah, I didn't want it. I still don't have it.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, rightly so.
I guess speaking of Xbox, Titanfall came out yesterday.
Yeah, and
I'm really interested to see what happens.
Yep.
Because that's kind of Microsoft has hung so much on that game.
It really
I'm
has.
actually really interested because Dark Souls 2 came out the same day, and it came out for last-gen consoles, both of them. So, the install base is much bigger, but it's also a pretty niche, like hardcore title. I'd be really curious to see which one sells more.
Oh, no
Because
question,
you've got-
Titanfall.
Super popular shooter on a console that has a real small install base.
Oh,
But then you've got like the hardcore niche gamer game on like the consoles that have millions upon millions upon millions of systems out there.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Well, Titanfall, I mean, it looked fine. It's not going to get me to buy an Xbox One.
It is coming out for 360 next week.
Yeah, and I heard that
I kind of want to rent it.
Yeah, they said you're probably better off playing it on the One than the 360. I mean, that's just the initial.
Makes sense. I mean, Battlefield was better, I'm sure, on the PlayStation 4 than it was on the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, I mean, if I start hearing unbelievable things, I might be tempted to pick it up for 360, but
also keep in mind that the sequel for, we were talking about this last night with MHawk, the sequel for this game for Titanfall will probably be multi-platform.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
like
unless
Mass
Microsoft
Effect.
makes it an exclusive.
Apparently not. And I wish Hawk was here because he knows more about it. But he was saying that it's not going to be Microsoft exclusive. For they only have exclusivity for the first title. Subsequent titles,
now.
Maybe.
I mean, that could always change.
That's true. It could. It's a long time before Titanfall 2.
I mean, technically, Gears of War, like Microsoft didn't own the IP. Like Epic, I think, kind of could have taken that elsewhere. I think Microsoft just owned exclusivity for like 3 games, and then they finally just flat out bought the rights to Gears of War, so now they own that IP. But I mean, if this does really well, I could totally see Microsoft shelling out money to make it an official Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, I could see that. You're right. Corey Wallace says goalie's officially at 261 days. He knows.
That scares me. You know that. I'm learning a lot of things today that I don't want to know. You guys. No, stop. Everyone stop. Chat room, leave.
Just stop teaching me.
Chat room. I'm pulling the plug.
I want to be ignorant.
No, why do you got to pile on?
Why you got to use those big words?
You stop. You stop. You little no-nut prick. You stop right now. All right? You're the sensitive one, remember.
Okay, I got to know my place.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be the church mouse over there. You just agree with me, and everything's fine. You start going head to head with me, we're going to have issues.
I got your back, Nick.
Good. The one with the biggest balls on the show is going to back you up. Oh, yeah, you must feel pretty safe now, hiding behind those. Holy cow. Speaking of those, there's a part in South Park.
Yeah.
We have to dodge some balls. All I'm going to say. That game, there is so many. I forgot about that, dude. There's so many friggin' things in that game that are just so hysterical. And again, it's picture like a South Park movie that they don't have to worry about TV restraints. That's what it is. Yeah. I forgot about that part. I was like, but it's like it is. It's an addicting game to play. Aside from some of the frustrations of an RPG turn-based game, but so many friggin' messed up things in that game. Oh man!
And Titanfall killed the Xbox Live for a bit yesterday. It's apparently all back up, working.
Oh, good. I kind of figured that, though. I mean, a big game, big launch. I mean, you got to figure that it had issues.
Yeah, I have read. I'm actually really surprised how few people were talking about it on my Facebook feed, because I've got quite a lot of people who are Xbox Ones on the Facebook feed, and really, I only saw a couple of people mentioning it, and one of them made a point that, this guy's, let's just say he's a Microsoft, I don't want to say fanboy, but he's firmly in the corner of the Xbox One. He bought an Xbox One, day one release, been totally psyched about it. He now works for Xbox. And, well, I'm not going to lie, it's Cooper Hawks. Cooper Hawks works for Xbox. He's everybody who's been a Gamehounds fan from way back when he was my co-host, he started the show with me. And he's always been a big fan of Microsoft and the Xbox. So he's been really looking forward to Titanfall. And I was kind of impressed by how he didn't really say Titanfall was an awesome game. I'm like, oh my God, this is such an awesome game. It was not, his opinion of it was very reserved. And I don't know if that's because Titanfall is a disappointment to people, or if it's because he truly is so even that he can actually call out what it doesn't work and what does work on an Xbox, even though he's a super fanboy.
I wouldn't say that that's like so even. I mean, that's just common sense to be able to say, hey, some things, sometimes a game is good, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be considered super even. That's common sense.
Yeah.
I kind of get the feeling that when we first saw the trailer for this way back in the day, it was this is the most unbelievable thing. And we all had our own vision of what it was going to be. And then as details come out and they found out maybe it wouldn't be exactly what we thought, or maybe it was only 6-on-6 or whatever it was, I don't think it quite filled all of our expectations. And that's why it maybe fell a little flat or a little short. I haven't played it. I've heard it's really good. But I think that everybody's expectations were so high with this game that everybody's a little let down. That's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone was let down by it. I haven't heard any negative opinions about it.
But just, what they thought it was going to be, it's not
quite there. Well, many people I think were expecting a peak experience, like greatest game ever. Didn't quite measure to that.
But boy, how are you getting that information? What are you getting that from?
Just a vibe, just a feel.
Just a vibe, yeah. I would say just a general opinion of, very unscientifically looking at my Facebook feed and having everybody go, yeah, it's a pretty good game. Well, I expected people to go more over into, oh my God, what a great game this is.
Yeah, expected the gushing.
Right. Certainly day one, you expect gushing. And then the more reasonable voices come in a little bit later saying, yeah, actually, that's got some problems. It's pretty good.
I think one of the most weird things about the Titanfall release is that a bunch of reviews for it came out on Friday or over the weekend, you know? But the game didn't come out until Tuesday. And what I noticed about a good 80% of the reviews, because it was there was some site that just kind of collected all of them and said, here's what everyone's saying about Titanfall. A good 80% of them didn't have scores on them. And they specifically mentioned, this is the game that we played at, a press event, and it's really, really good. It's great, but we're not going to give it a score until we can play it after it's released and see how the servers stack up. Mm-hmm. And that struck me as the ghost of Battlefield 4
I was just thinking
EA haunting Titanfall.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in fact, I guess Kevin Boulware says that they're still having some problems with the Titanfall on the Xbox One, and that Microsoft is quote unquote investigating it. Listen, let's be honest. Everything that you heard us complaining about Battlefield 4 when we first started playing it on the Xbox or the PlayStation 4, that's what you're going to experience with Titanfall. There's not going to be a quick fix on this.
No.
It's going to be months before it gets itself straight.
But wait. Battlefield 4 was nearly flat out broken at launch. I don't think Titanfall is anywhere near that.
We'll see. I mean, it's the first day, and all it was servers being fucked up.
Battlefield 4 crashed to the home screen multiple times when I was playing.
Well, we don't have Titanfall. We don't know.
I literally could not play it. It wasn't just we can't connect to the server. It was no, fuck off. This game doesn't want to be played. Titanfall,
no soup for you.
I have not played it, but I can tell, again, from the vibe, that it is not that.
Yeah.
If some people are having trouble connecting to a game, hey, at least they're playing the game.
See,
and that's more than what can be said.
Go, Nick. You listen to you all grown up and stepping up to the microphone with some energy. You go, girl.
Yeah.
Shh, don't look at him. You'll wreck it. Now, see what you did, goalie. He was actually a real host there for a second.
It's unfair to say just because it has some server issues, it's as bad as Battlefield 4.
True.
Battlefield 4 is a shitstorm that we have not. It is a whole.
No, we had seen.
Shit
oh yes.
itself.
Hey, we had seen that from another EA game, but not on a console, and it was called SimCity.
I don't think SimCity was even as bad. Like
Oh,
SimCity
oh my God.
wasn't
unplayable for the
prevent
first
you
3 weeks.
playing. But again, like that was server issues.
Wait,
Like,
same
I
thing
think-
with PlayStation with Battlefield 4. It was mostly
No,
server issues, wasn't
I
it?
think Battlefield server issues don't kick you out of the game.
Mm.
And that's what was happening with Battlefield. There was something fundamentally broken about that game that was more than just server issues.
Kevin Bolweir says Battlefield 4 was an issue of EA not having the correct amount of servers. Respawn is claiming this is Microsoft infrastructure breaking down, though. So that's a big difference. Slightly
Just server
scarier
issues.
difference.
Anyways.
And, you know, I'm a little interested about getting an Xbox One just to play Titanfall. Not because I'm really crazy about playing Titanfall, but because I really would like to try and see how broken Titanfall is compared to...
God, it's not broken. Don't call it broken.
It's how the issues that Titanfall is having as compared to the issues of what Battlefield 4 had.
Whatever issues it's having, I guarantee you, I will bet money that it is not as bad as Battlefield.
Yeah.
That is a horrible comparison.
Jaeger says, agrees with you. He says, yeah, Battlefield 4 wasn't finished. You're right.
Yeah, there were the issues with Battlefield. Yeah, I don't see Titanfall having that issue either. I mean, it might have some issues, like I said, of its own, but yeah, it's not on the Battlefield scale. That was Battlefield. That was got to be one of the worst I've ever seen. And when it plays well, it plays awesome, and it's an awesome game. But yeah, just to try, it's like having a car that floats on air and plays your favorite music. But if you can't get it to start and get it out of the driveway, then you can't experience it.
And another EA game, not EA, another game, Grand Theft Auto, the multiplayer. Woo, that was broken.
Yeah.
That was
that was.
broken. Wow, just horrible. So bad they had to give away free in-game money.
Which I don't think I ever picked up.
You probably haven't. What was it, stimulus package? Yeah. I want to go back to it. I really should finish that campaign.
You should. The ending is really good.
Yeah, I know.
It's GTA takes on class warfare. It's really interesting.
Okay, all right.
Like I was shocked at the end because I was like, oh my God, Rockstar is advocating class warfare. This is insane.
Okay.
It's good. It's a good game. In more positive news, there was an announcement from Eidos that Tomb Raider has exceeded its profit expectations.
Ooh, good for
This,
it.
after it was announced, has a financial failure after the first month.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
That was such a good game. I bought it twice. I bought it for Xbox, and then I bought it again for PS4, and I enjoyed both playthroughs, and I'm glad I did. I had so much fun with that. And Edie, you got to play that.
If you're looking for,
I'll go
if
do
you're
that.
looking for that game you were just talking about on our other show, about that complete game and not just an easy game or a quick game, this one, when you're done, like I said, you want a cigarette after you've done Tomb Raider because it's a long campaign. You feel like you've been through the ringer on it. And it wasn't overly difficult either. That's what I really liked about it. It wasn't bang your head against the wall. It's like there was a couple of spots where you're like, oh man, it's ridiculous. But for the most part, it was solid. It was fun. Didn't have to replay too many things over. And it just was so.
All right, I'll pick it up today because I do need a good story to launch into.
Blows away Thief.
Okay, good.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, and going back slightly to Titanfall, Joystick has a page that they are updating. That's the Titanfall State of Service, the ongoing saga. And right now it says T-minus 29 days till final verdict. And the current state of service is moderate.
That's
Xbox
more
One.
than what could be said for Battle.
Oh, yes. So, man, you were right. Xbox One and PC versions experienced matchmaking issues. Problems seem to have been resolved. PC version experiencing crash bug. So, yeah. You're right. Jaeger says platinumed that bitch, too.
What?
Talking about probably Tomb Raider.
Oh, yeah. That's right. He got the Platinum Trophy in that game, which means he played the multiplayer for like, God, I don't know, 50 hours?
Oh, God.
Which is just masochistic Jaeger. I don't know. Oh, my God. The game is great, but the multiplayer is just so meh.
Yeah. I played it for like 5 minutes. I was like, oh, this is stupid.
Yeah.
And it kind of started to wreck the single player experience because the single player was so fun. And then you do that, you're like, what is the point?
Yeah, it's like, okay, just forget about it. Ignore it.
Let's go back to the game.
Any other news?
Drive Club has apparently gone back to the drawing board.
What?
According to Sony. Yeah.
What?
So it's it's not just like delayed. It's just it's off the chart.
It's
so who knows when that will come out.
Oh, wow. Wow. This may very well be the Duke Nukem of our generation. Wow.
No, that's Half-Life 3.
That's true. Half-Life 3 is Duke Nukem. Well, that's... okay, so this would be what? What's that other one? Huxley?
The Last Guardian.
Huxley.
Huxley. What's Huxley?
Isn't it Huxley? Yeah, it was Huxley. It was a game that everybody wanted to come out, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's coming! It's coming! It's right here! It's right here! It's in alpha! It's in beta! Oh, now it's not coming! Hold on a second, we had to pull it back from beta, and then it just kind of died."
Oh man, yeah, this could be the Obamacare website, a video game.
No, see, it has to come out first.
Right? You can't.
No,
yeah,
but you got to release it to see what's in it.
Watch Dogs closed beta.
Originally supposed to be a launch game for PS4, and
Right.
then it got delayed to 2014.
I know. How do you have it set as a launch game and back it up 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they backed it up 1 year, well, to at least until 2014, and then they backed it up again to TBA.
Yeah, I have no idea what's happening with that game.
Wow. I hope somebody writes a book about that, because sounds very, very interesting. Iruka says Huxley's going to be sweet. Yes, it is. It's going to be awesome. I'll stop gaming when I play Huxley.
When I play Haggis.
No, speaking of delays, there's another game that was delayed.
Oh,
Please don't say Watch Dogs.
it's a delay game.
No, it's Witcher 3.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, apparently it's delayed into next year.
Ooh. Ick.
But that's not that far, because I think it was coming out at the end of 2014
I was going to say it was
anyways.
supposed to be September, but still, that's not good.
Are you saying Watch Dogs? Yeah, that's
Watch
That was
Dogs.
delayed.
It was delayed. It was supposed to be a launch. It was delayed, but apparently a closed beta has been spotted on the Xbox One store. So
I think it comes out in April.
yeah, it's due out. Do we have a date? When is?
I thought it
Yeah,
said May.
they just recently announced one,
April
and I
or May.
forget what it was.
Getting
Yeah.
close now.
I don't care. Goat Simulator's on the first, and then I'm happy. Seriously, I cannot wait for Goat Simulator.
Yeah, that looks pretty fun.
Anything else? Nick,
Yeah,
totally leaning on you this
apparently-
week.
There's this rumor that Sony has been working on their own virtual headset, and that supposedly it'll be announced next week.
Really?
Yeah, this is from GameSpot. It just a report says that PS4 virtual reality headset will be announced next week.
Yeah, Oculus Rift is getting a lot of exposure, and
I want one. The moment it comes out, I'm gonna get one.
yeah, it was out at South by Southwest, and I guess Kevin sent it to me in review in it's not Engadget. It was something else. I can't remember what, but it was something along the lines of Engadget or something like that. That they had a demo of Game of Thrones, but being inside the Game of Thrones with an Oculus Rift headset, and the guy was like in this area, and he's inside the Castle Black, not Castle Black. What's the name of the the castle at
King's Landing?
King's Landing. He's inside the castle in King's Landing, and the door's open. And then next thing you know, he's walking on the top of the wall. And he's walking on the top of the wall and looking over the edge. And then he feels a hand on his back, and it's the demo guy saying, "Hey, you practically walked out of the cage here. You practically just fell over, fell off the stage here." But the guy that was doing it, that was demoing it, is a climber, is a rock climber, and he's like, "I got all of the same physical reactions that I get when I'm rock climbing when I was on top of that wall." He goes, It's absolutely like your body truly believes it's there. And it not just your mind, not just your eyes, but your body reacts to it. He said it's freaking awesome. They said it was the most compelling thing that they did at South by Southwest this year. And I saw on Shark Tank. Do you ever watch Shark Tank, that television show?
I've seen like one episode.
You know what it is, Goalie?
I've heard of it, but
It's essentially they will have a panel of 5 entrepreneurs, like multi-million-dollar entrepreneurs, investors, and then they will have a series of inventors, people with good ideas, to bring their idea in front of them, and then that person will offer a portion of the company, the ownership of the company, for a certain amount, depending on what their investment is. So like they come in and they've got a brand new widget, and here's my widget, and they do a little presentation of what my widget is. And my offer to you, Hawks, is I am seeking $100,000 for 10% of my company. And then the sharks all kind of weigh in and weigh against each other, and they pepper them with questions and try and beat them down, and then offer them something like, "Okay, well, I'll give you, how about this? I'll give you $100,000 for 20% of your company." And some other shark will go, no, you don't want to do this. We'll do it this way. You're just going to pay me a portion at so many cents. I'm going to give you $200,000, but you're going to give me 7% of everything you make until my investment is made, and then it goes down to 1%. And people are, essentially, it's like that. They had this guy on that had a roller cage for an Oculus Rift. So, and it was kind of big. It kind of looked like half of a cage dancer's cage, and on the bottom of it, it was kind of convex, and you would step onto it. Concave, and you would step onto it, and you would start walking, and you just walk in place in any direction. You just can run in any direction. You can even run in any direction, and you just stay right there in that cage. And they were using it with an Oculus Rift, and people they lost their minds. But then the guy asked for too much money, and they sent him away without an investment. And it looks really good.
How does that work? How do you make like a multi-directional? What the hell are those things called that you run on? Treadmill.
Treadmill. It was like a multi-directional treadmill. Well, because it was just rollers, but instead of the rollers being one way, they were 360-degree rollers. So you would just run on these series of rollers.
Right? Like a hamster ball.
Not like a hamster ball. It was more like, what can I say? It was like a moving sidewalk, but the sidewalk itself moves. So you walk in place.
Like, how do they get it to move in all those directions at once?
I don't know. Don't ask me. They didn't go into the details. Iruga says Dragon's Den. Yes, Shark Tank is the American version of Dragon's Den.
What the hell?
Let me look it up and I'll see. So
Dragon's Den is such a better name.
I know.
Here's a great idea. So you get this. You spend all this money in Oculus Rift, and you have this hamster ball or whatever you want to call it, right? While you're walking around. Here's a unique idea. How about open the front door and walk down the street? Just throwing that out there. I mean, call me crazy, but I think that,
You're crazy. Yeah, stop. Just, you're talking nonsense. I have no idea what you... Front door? What?
Jimmy from South Park.
Just making sure.
I'm going to walk out the front. That's in the game too. Press this button every time Jimmy stutters.
That's funny. Let me see.
Hey,
I'm looking for this video still so you can see it.
In May, the Godzilla movie. Have you guys seen the?
Oh yeah, I have.
I'm so stoked for that. I love
awesome.
I think I either have every one of them or I have them on digital or something, but as many as you could buy, I bought. Love watching that. In fact, the other day I was just sitting around. I was like, I'm going to put on a Godzilla movie. I just watched the Godzilla movie while I was sitting there. I was like, this is so cool.
I haven't seen any in a while, but man, like after I saw those trailers, I was like, I gotta go and watch some of those Godzilla movies again. They were great.
Yeah. Do you know what the good one was? I think it was called Godzilla Final Wars, and they made it, I want to say 6-7 years ago, and it was supposed to be the last one. Okay, it's always the last one. And this one did, it brought back just about every monster that was in a Godzilla movie.
That's awesome.
And what was kind of neat, because it was like, so Godzilla's fighting him, and like, of course, it was these spacemen, you know, and they were like throwing all these old monsters at Godzilla, almost like in a, what do they call that in wrestling? The gauntlet or something like that. You in the ring, and they keep sending guy after guy after you, and you got to keep fighting everybody. You kind of run the gauntlet. That's what it was. And it was just like all these old ones were coming in, and Godzilla was just fighting. It was pretty cool. But this one looks like it. I hope this is better than the Matthew Broderick movie, because that wasn't too bad. I gotta say that one there that was set in Brooklyn, New York, with the weird looking Godzilla, that was okay. It was, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it was just okay. It wasn't really Godzilla, but it was okay.
Okay, check your Skype chat.
Ooh.
And this
random
is
thing, Godzilla Final Wars is apparently streaming for free on a site called Crackle.com.
Oh, Crackle, yeah, Crackle's a
Yeah.
You can get that on your Xbox, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just posted. In fact, I will post it this into the chat room so that everybody can see it. That is a link to the guy playing Battlefield 4 on this thing, which is called the Drift. Sorry, the Virtuix Omni.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's kind of like a.
So he's got his waist kind of strapped into this thing, so he
Right.
can't fall over.
So he can't fall over and he can't move.
And then he's walking like a little pit.
Right.
So it's almost like it looks real.
And if you
slippery.
go actually out to about 1:14, you'll start seeing him actually running and running hard on this thing.
Wow. Yeah, it looks pretty. Although, boy, man, you know how tired you would get.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
You
know,
get
man.
exhausted.
Watch this guy walk and run. So picture if you had to sit there and walk and run like you did in the games that were holding the button down.
Yeah. You definitely would limit your playing time. But think about all the weight you lose.
Yeah, but think of all the gaming time you wouldn't get in.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of
No, dude's sitting down. If you look at about 1:45, he's actually sitting down.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of watching it. Yeah, that's where I am right now. Now, if they had if you could sit in a chair.
Oh, because he's in the tank. That's why.
Okay. Now, if you could actually sit and have pedals that you press to make you run instead of running yourself, that might be a little bit more interesting. Oh,
Yeah, it's
Far
called
Cry
Snow
3.
Battalion.
What's this Far Cry 3 with the Oculus Rift?
Yeah. Listen, Oculus Rift, I think it's going to be, I mean, they've done a lot of this 3D glasses stuff. I think this is going to be pretty much popular than we are thinking it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they can make it affordable, and I've read enough interviews with the guy who says yeah, we want this to be affordable for the average person. We don't want to make this $1,000 goggles.
Black Sphere Void says, I see a future for mini ORs on babies. Mini Oculus Rifts on babies in those little baby walking trainers. That would be awesome. So anyway, Michael O'Connell says it's ingenious. I'm not sure if he's talking about this Virtuix Omni or if he's talking about Oculus Rift or something else. But
Either way, yeah, I'd agree. And
of course, Jaeger has to bring up that this is the future of sex.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yep. So
Now you okay? I'm okay.
okay. Yeah,
I'm-
remember the scene in Far Cry 3 with the girl
No.
where you had to have sex with the girl on high on hallucinogens?
Oh yeah, that hot island chick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with Oculus
imagine that.
Rift.
Red Dead Redemption. You
Rift.
walked in.
Oh,
You walked in the guy in Red Dead jamming that chick.
yep.
Okay.
Starting to see it? You're starting to get sold on this Oculus thing?
It's becoming a little bit clearer now. I mean, now you explained it to me. It's starting to come into focus a little bit now.
Yeah. So yeah. Any other news, Nick?
Imagine, but take this to the next level. What if like Vivid Production come in, okay, and you just like we're in a X-rated movie with these things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You come in like
I'm sure that like when it comes out, if it's popular,
porn does everything first. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So it's like you come in and you're like the TV repairman, like Nick's TV service, and then you walk in and the girl's like, I can't get this channel to come in. It's a little fuzzy. And they like bang, chicka, bang, bang. It's like, yeah, baby, I'm gonna.
You put way too much thought into this. Seriously.
And I'm like, well, baby, here's your problem. It's because your HDMI port's not properly plugged in.
That's right.
Let me just unplug it here. And you got the cable box routed through the wrong system. Let me fix that.
That's right. Looks like you go to the upgraded package.
Yeah.
And here I am with that package.
So anything else?
I have right
off the top of your head? Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm kind of a loser this week. Like I said, next week I will bring it.
Yeah.
I will bring it like it's like I've never brought it before, brung it before.
Apparently, the guy who made Flappy Bird is considering bringing it back to iOS.
I saw that. Well, I think when somebody said to him, "You do realize how much money." Excuse me. You do realize how much money you were making off of this, right? It's always about the money. Eventually, people get scared of all this, people handing them tens of thousands of dollars, and then all of a sudden they realize, hey, this was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Making thousands of dollars a day.
By doing nothing but sitting on your ass
nice.
and watching it roll in. Yep.
Yeah. I would like that.
Another game I'm really looking forward to, and the more I hear about it, the more I'm really craving it, is the Elder Scrolls Online. There's a lot of people that have done the beta. By the way, we had a beta we gave away. Another reason to be on our Facebook page, we actually had a code for a beta for whatchamacallit, Elder Scrolls Online. Of course, the person that won it doesn't play PC games. He's like, oh, it wasn't for the PS4. It's like, no, it's not for the PS4. It doesn't work. Not making fun of you. I'm not making fun of you. But no, it was not. It was a PC game, obviously. But I am looking forward to that. And the more I see of it, the more I like it. I think it's probably not going to go the way of all the other MMOs that have come out, the big name ones. What was the Knights of the Republic?
Oh, yeah, the Star Wars one.
Yeah, that they were acting like was all hot shit and then came in and crashed and burned. Well, they made it free to play.
When I was at GameStop getting Dark Souls, they have TVs up that are, just playing promotional videos. And I was watching it, and I was seeing this video, for a fantasy game that looked like Skyrim. And I was like, what the hell is that game? It can't be Skyrim. Skyrim came out years ago. And it kind of looked like Dragon Age 3 because it was third person, but then it went to first person. And I was like, is this does Dragon Age 3, are they really just mimicking everything about Skyrim? And then it showed Elder Scrolls Online, and I thought, oh, because it really did look like Skyrim.
Yeah.
Like just the first person, the environment, the movement of it all. Mm-hmm. And I kind of like that idea. The idea of a first person MMO seems really neat. Like, I don't know, the third person just seems too, I don't know, maybe too wow.
Well, you can do either. Yeah, the WoW. That's why I would want to play it, because it would feel more WoW. And you would want to play it not that way, because it felt like WoW.
Yeah. Because, I think it'd be cool to be able to go and hack stuff like you do in, Skyrim, where you have the sword and you just swing the sword and you block with the shield. You don't need a mouse to click all these special moves. You just hack away at shit. Mm-hmm. And yeah, if I could do that in a huge world, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out, right?
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. I've totally turned into like a Marvel fanboy.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's also Captain America, the Winter Soldier's coming out this summer.
Hell yeah.
So apparently, both of these films will be coming to Facebook, iOS, and Android in the form of extra content for Marvel Avengers Alliance. MTV reports the game, in which players fight teams of Marvel villains in turn-based battles, will feature Winter Soldier missions that run parallel to the film's plot later this month.
What's MTV?
It's this channel that has a bunch of reality shows on it. It's this channel that essentially teenage girls get pregnant to be on.
Yeah, I was watching. You gotta love the marketing and the creativity of that channel, because it's like, they have this show. It's called 17 and Pregnant. Like, man, how can we top that? I know, 16 and pregnant. That's unbelievable. You're a genius. You can make millions. And it's like, how can we top 16 and pregnant? I know,
15 and pregnant.
Why did I think of that?
Eventually they're going to get down to like 6 and pregnant. And then it's going to be really hard to find content.
It's like, this is the best channel ever. It's like, oh, what can we follow that up? I know, Touched by an Uncle. I know.
Oh my god.
I mean, Angel. What did I say? Uncle? Yeah, I meant Angel. Rewind that. Back that up.
Moving right along. South by Southwest is happening. I guess that, and I have not heard about this, and maybe Nick has, that there is a game that's due to come out that's in a collaboration between Telltale and Gearbox called Tales from the Borderlands, which is going to be a story-driven adventure game.
Yeah. They announced that during the Spike's VGA things.
Oh. So at South by Southwest, the president of Telltale, Kevin Bruner, was at a panel, and he told the audience, quote, "You never really play what actually happened. You're playing as this big fish version of what happened." Which I guess is that you're playing a story being told in third person, kind of like Dragon Age is, but that person's version of it. So it's more like a big fish, and it's a little bit more fantastical if you're going to say big fish version.
Which sounds neat.
Sounds neat.
Like, yeah.
The only thing that would make it more perfect is if, well, I guess it is Telltale, so I'm just thinking Telltale was involved, but Telltale is involved. It's just a great combination of a really solid story in a world that is very, very well formed. And just taking it even a step further. Telltale does such a good job on their games too. But you're not so thrilled about episode 2.
Except, there's a twist. I guess maybe not twist, but there's one part in episode 2 that just feels so lazy and bad. And it's just like, oh, you guys, this was. It just feels like pandering on like the worst level. And
Well, I don't know, because I was supposed to play it last night. I told Kevin that because he's taking the week off of work because of my dad. So, which is really funny because people here will know is that a little bit of dad trivia or a little bit of movie trivia is my dad has actually delayed the recording of the Foley on Guardians of the Galaxy. There you go. That was my dad's final act, was fucking up their Foley recording schedule just a little bit. It's not irredeemable. It's not going to affect anything.
Movie is going to be awful now.
Yes, I know.
He single-handedly destroyed a big budget Hollywood blockbuster.
Yeah, he delayed the recording of Foley for 3 days. So, what were we talking about? I'm sorry, my brain is just kind of smushy right now.
We're talking about that band that opened up for Black Sabbath.
No, everybody in the chat room, like, bring me back up to speed. Where was I? I don't want to have to roll this back and figure out what I said. Oh, Walking Dead. We were supposed to play Walking Dead last night, but we just got distracted. But we're going to probably, Kevin and I are going to play it tonight. So you and I will be able to talk about whatever this misstep is, and I will talk about it in detail.
Good. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, because he's into it, and it's nice because it's coming out this week where it's a good time to have something to distract me, but we can do together.
It got me, like, I actually looked at who wrote the episode, and it's some guy named Nick, so, you know, clearly he's an awful writer. But then I went and looked at who wrote the previous season, and I guess the guy who wrote the 3 best episodes is no longer at Telltale. Like, he left to form his own studio.
Oh.
And I thought that's so awful because clearly his loss is felt in the story department.
Interesting. And in other news, Jaeger brought up Costume Quest 2 has been announced by Double Fine.
I like Costume Quest.
I never played it. I should have.
It was charming.
Yeah.
It was, you know, Double Fine.
And Broken Age is on sale right now at Steam for 33% off. And I did not know this because I have yet to get to the end of it, but apparently there are 15 minutes of credits. Oh, I'm sorry. The sale's over. Never mind. Sorry. Oops, you missed it.
It's just in what you could have done.
What you could have gotten if we'd have been a podcast that had gone on a day earlier. The game is $24.99, which actually makes sense because I think I gave him $100, so I overpaid. But that's all right. It still seems like a really good game, and like I said, I just haven't got to it.
You paid $100, but you also got more than just the game.
Yes, I did. I got a
They're
T-shirt.
probably going to be giving you like a Blu-ray of the documentary and stuff.
Probably, yeah. Speaking of Kickstarters, where the hell is Carmageddon?
I was just thinking that. I get all these updates. It's like, yep, we're working on it, and we did some really good stuff today, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's been 2 years now, hasn't it? That's been a couple of years now.
Yeah,
Have you
it has
gotten
been.
any updates from it?
Oh, every day.
Oh, all the time. All the time we get updates. Still here. Still working.
We just changed the car from red.
The font is now New Times Roman.
Yeah. So, we're all excited about that. I can't wait to play that game when it comes out. And with the font and the new color on the car. And stay tuned. We're getting taken for a ride. This game.
I don't know. No. I'm not taking for a ride. There's another one I gave $100 to. But we'll see. If it happens, it's going to be awesome.
I feel like I haven't even got my T-shirt yet. I want the T-shirt. Just send me the T-shirt, $150 T-shirt, whatever.
Yeah.
No, make me feel good. I feel bad, but I feel dirty.
I thought we got a T-shirt. Didn't you get a T-shirt?
No.
Maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm confusing it with my Double Fine T-shirt. I have to look. I don't know. I don't think I got it. But I did get the iOS version for free. Comic Sans. Blacks for Void, you are now officially no longer a friend of the podcast. I prefer Comic Sans. Ugh.
Oh, man.
I don't know. Why do people have such a hate on comics?
Here's why. There's a documentary out there about why people hate Comic Sans. And I didn't know it myself, but I recently watched it, and now I understand. Is what it is. It was a font that was created by this guy that was supposed to be used in inside of a Microsoft like app for kids. It wasn't really an app; it was a program, as they didn't have apps back then. But it was a program that was supposed to be for kids, and he created this font. But then this program didn't happen, so then he had this font, so they just made it part of Microsoft Word. Because, they had the bitmap. They'd just stick it in there. It's a font. Well, people started using it in really inappropriate ways, like using it for, if you look up Google inappropriate Comic Sans, you'll find it. Like people, pictures at like notices for like funerals or notices of death, people will use Comic Sans, and it's completely inappropriate. Or things like a real estate agency that uses Comic Sans because it looks like it's supposed to be kids. It's supposed to be cartoony. And
Well, then
people
why
just
people are hating on the font? You should be hating on the idiots that use the font.
They do hate the idiots that use the font, but the Comic Sans is appropriate, but in very, very limited cases. And more times than not, people who don't know anything about, design is they're pulling in this font that essentially makes them look like fucking idiots. And they fucking hate that fucking Comic Sans because everybody uses it. It's goddamn everywhere. So it's the most misused font, and the designers really hate it. So anyway, by the way, speaking of also another Kickstarter, I'm going to throw this out here as a plug for a friend of mine. He has a Kickstarter out. He has written a program that is called Own Shelf, which will share books, like ebooks that you have on your device, with other people across devices. And it's pretty freaking awesome. So check it out. It is called Own Shelf, OWNSHELF on Kickstarter. And he's looking for a pledge of $7,500. We got 11 days to get it. And this guy Rick, who is the writer, and it's his Kickstarter. I actually, going back in the Wayback Machine, when I was,
that's a horrible.
Do you want to do a better one?
Wayback
do
Machine.
a better one. Do a better one.
You didn't go very far back at all. You went back like 3 minutes.
Okay, well, this goes back 30 years.
All right, Nick, can you give us that sound effect, please?
30 years. That's worse than mine.
No, it sounds like you're talking on your new router in water.
So 30 years ago, Rick Marizani wandered into the computer training lab at Martinez Junior High School. Actually, was it 30? No, it's probably closer to 35, almost 40 years ago.
This almost sounds like the origin story of a superhero.
I'm trying to follow this. So is this a junior high school?
Junior
or is it a high school for Martin Jr.?
No, it was a junior high school. So I was like 12, 13, and Rick was a little kid. Like I was in 8th grade and he was in like 6th grade. And we took, well, actually less than that, because we took, the computer room was in a portable classroom. It was like a trailer. So we would take the trailer all over to all the middle schools in the whole area. And I was one of the not really instructor, but guides. I was one of the peers that was in the computer room, the computer training room. So we would go with these things and just introduce little kids to computers, the TRS-80. And I was the person who introduced Rick Marizani to his first TRS-80, which now has turned him into a programmer, and now he has a Kickstarter for Own Shelf.
So you said 6th grade?
He was probably, he was less. He was probably in 4th or 5th, and
Right, so
I would have been in 7th or 8th.
All right, because I don't think I got my hands on my first computer till I was in high school, probably 9th or 10th grade.
No, seriously, there was 3 of us. It was me, it was John DeVries, and Tori Lyons, and I was dating Tori Lyons, and which is why I did it.
Oh, we all dated Tori Lyons.
Whore. So yeah, but we all were friends, and that's what we did. I was at the cutting edge of computers, really.
That's cool.
Yeah. So now Rick Marizani's all
one
grown up and got his own Kickstarter and for his own app for sharing books.
That's cool. I'm trying to remember the first computer that when we had in high school, they had tape drives.
Yeah. Yeah.
You actually would.
Commodore had mine, had a tape drive. Had to start your. If you want to see something that really is going to make you feel old, look up on Google, on YouTube, a video about kids and rotary phones. And what it is that there's this series of people that bring old technology to like little kids, and like ask them questions about what things are, and their answers are hilarious. And the one with the rotary phones is absolutely hilarious. Kids are completely unable to understand how you could like dial someone on a rotary phone. Like, what do you have to do? What do you have to do this? And they're like, you pick up the phone, and then you, then, and like they're holding the phone in front of them, and it's like, all right, and then you just spin this wheel, right?
Well, you know what's funny is for the longest time, speaking of technology, for the longest, probably up until like the last couple of years or so, when I look at a clock, like a digital clock, I have to think of a regular clock with the hands to tell time.
Right.
I'm looking at the clock right now. It says 4:18. I don't know what 4:18 means until I visualize a clock with hands on it.
Wow, that's
Yes.
Really?
that's
No
really
joke.
interesting.
That is not a joke. That is absolute truth. That, you know, I have several old clocks with hands on them in the house. I mean, all over the house, and that's how I tell time. If I look at just the digital number, I actually have to think about the time, and I have to.
Like, you gotta like.
I can
translate
vision
it.
the old clock with the hands on it, and then it's like, oh yeah, so it's getting close to 4:30 now.
Yeah. Tour of the Weege is in the chat room. Tour of the Weege is in the
That's
chat
the
room.
time to sign up. Thanks everybody for tuning in to Game Hounds. Happy endings this week. You know, just Game Hounds and
No, we're not shining out just yet.
It was a great show. Nick rerouted his router, and we.
Black Sphere Void says TRS-80 used a tape cassette recorder. No, we had the floppy disk, the 6.5 inch or 6 inch floppy drive. 5.5. Yeah, and that's what we had in ours. And we had a classroom full of 25 TRS-80s.
Wow.
And they were not color. They weren't the TRS-80 color. They were TRS-80 black and white.
I had the Commodore 64.
Yeah, I had a Commodore at home.
I played that Ultima.
Yeah.
Ultima 1, 2, and 3, and 4. I think I played Ultima 3 on that.
My favorite one on there was, I think it was called Pirates. And then did I play Mule? I think I played Mule on that a lot. God, I loved Mule. Oh, it's such a good game.
Yeah, they had some, I think I told this story before, but Ultima 3 with Lord British, it was basically Dungeons and Dragons game. That was one of those games that when you died, that was it.
Yeah.
There was no saving. When you were dead, you started over. So I went 3 months playing that game, and I died, and I lost everything. You had to start over.
Wow.
So what I ended up doing is what I got into was sometimes you get into 2 battles back to back, and you were so wounded you couldn't beat them. You would have to just shut off the computer, and then turn it on and boot it all up again, and hope that when it come back on to the game, you could actually run away and get healed up. But yeah, I mean, so many times you were losing the battle, just shut it off before it could save anything. Yeah. And it took me over a year to play that game and finish it. Over a year.
Fighter Ace. Chris used to do that with
Oh yeah, Borderlands.
Borderlands, right? When he would die because he didn't want to lose half his money, even though he had 999999999 money.
That he would die, and the 999s wouldn't even go down.
But
He's
he
just so obsessed with not losing money.
he would be mid fall, and he'd just like boot off the computer.
Yep, it's like oh shit,
and then he'd disappear.
We would have so much fun. Like I'd be driving a car, and he'd be the passenger, and I'd purposely like drive off a cliff. And be like, oh, I've got you now.
No. Oh, we had so many nights when we laughed our asses off about that.
Yeah, that was good.
Whew, that was fun. Fun times.
Trying to push him off with the car when
Hey,
he was
speaking
like,
about fun, I want to go play some South Park. Can we wrap this shit
Yeah.
up?
I got a doctor's appointment, so I got to go take a shower. Got to take, or as Goalie calls it, a shower.
A shower, then you're going to get a drink at the Bubbler?
Bubbler, yeah, exactly. But yeah, last plug, Rick Marizani, own shelf on Kickstarter. Everybody donate $1 or more. Just for the legacy of Edie, if nothing else. Even if you don't want the product, just go in and toss him a couple bucks. And let's get this thing started. It might take over the world. You never know. All right, so let's close this out. Wait, maybe. Hold on. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. All right, let's close this out. There we go. You have been listening to Gamehound's Happy Endings, episode 45. I've been Edie Sellers. With me has been Holy Goalie Nick DiNicola. Thank you so much to everyone in the chat room. Kevin Bulwer, Jaeger, Tor, Black Sphere, Barbara, AC, anybody else who was on and left, or if I forgot who you were, that you were in there. I don't have you on my screen right now. Thank you so much for being in the chat room. Every week we are on at noon, Wednesdays, Pacific time, for the live chat. Please come and join us if you are listening to this after the fact. We would love to have you in the chat room. It's a good group of people. We have a lot of fun. Ways to get a hold of us. Gamehounds.net is our website. The first item, even though it looks very old, that item is actually our most recent show. So we're going to actually be updating the website very soon now that my life has gotten a little less complicated. In a couple of weeks, that's all going to start getting refreshed. So start visiting Gamehounds.net and you'll see new adventures. Aruga in the chat room. Forgot about you. Thank you for coming in all the way from Britain. Other ways to get a hold of us are email, gamehounds@gmail.com. Our Facebook page, Facebook.com/The Gamehounds. Our Twitch feed, twitch.tv/The Gamehounds. And finally, our our text line, and you can also leave a voicemail there. And that number is...
Yeah, we got a text line, 304-300-9889, and you can also get a hold of us through sarahpalin.com.
What the fuck? God, such an idiot. All right, we'll talk to you next week. Don't forget Gamehounds. Check that out, especially on our iTunes page. But yeah, next week, Gamehounds, and then once again here at noon on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, noon Pacific, for Gamehounds Happy Endings. Talk to you guys later. Have a good week.